Hey guys, today we're at store 114 in Columbia, South Carolina.
We'll be interviewing the regional MVL team, and this is another episode of Stockroom Sessions.
Hi guys, I'm Jacob. I've been with American Eagle for 9 years. I've been in the MVL role for about 4 months now.
Yes, I am Tiara. I have been with the company for 5.5 years. I come from Aries more specifically. I've been a market visual leader for 2.5 years, and I've actually been a part of the American Eagle / Aerie market visual team for about 6 months now.
So my name is Kristin. I have been with the company since 2011, and this is going to be my second year in role, and this will be my second market in role.
Jacob, can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do?
So if I'm talking to someone that has no retail experience, I kind of say that my role is similar to a district manager that focuses on just merchandising and product placement. And since my department of responsibility is just merchandising and kind of product placement, I cover a larger area of stores, and I have a little bit of different functionality since I have the one DOR. And I also often partner with the merchants in the building and directly the store team leader.
Something else I like to emphasize with our role is we have a really big focus on training and development, and just making sure that anybody that we can get to, that we can train from a visual aspect, gets trained. So,
I think what I would also add is with this role, we are actually on two different teams, which I know we might talk about, but we are actually, a corporate partner. So we have our field visual team, but then we're on the same batting team as, the DTLs and the store team. So we try to find a balance of both for our role.
What visual strategies have you implemented in the past year that were particularly successful?
So I would say for me, what I've done in my past year that's really been successful with the teams is two things I go to. One is FAST, the planning worksheet that we use for floor sets. And then I would also say the VMA. It's just a tool I'm super passionate about. I know we only use it really during floor set times, but I've always really encouraged my MTLs to use it on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, just to use it as like a report card to track their progress. It's really great for a store manager and an MTL to sit down with it. So those I would say are probably my two biggest talking points would be VMA and FAST.
So how do you work with store managers to make sure that what you're putting into place is actually implemented in the stores?
When I think about store managers, that's also who we're coaching and training and developing. It's not just the MTL. So I know a lot of the times we may come in and we're just really talking to the MTL, but when it comes to the store manager experience, I want to make sure that they understand the buy-in of what we're doing. I think a lot of the time store managers, I really take a look at how they learn best, one, and what they're kind of passionate about, right? If they're really passionate about the business, I'm going to talk to them and get the business buy-in first before I get into the visuals, just because I want to speak a language that they can really understand. So I think it's all about just really taking into account what they want and what they need from you, and just having that open communication.
All right, what's the best way to get a team to collaborate for the best results?
I would say having common goals and having a good working relationship. I feel like whenever there would be maybe conflict on the team or maybe some different mindsets happening, I would always tell them we all want the same thing. And anyone that's worked for me will know that I've said this to them. We all want to come to work and our business to be good and all of us to be happy and the store to be clean and for it to be running smoothly. And I think just being really level set with that idea is the perfect place to start.
All right. How big of a role does storytelling play in your merchandising?
It plays a really big role. I mean, it's what, it's where we start almost. It's what is the floor set theme? I want to emphasize the importance of storytelling and color story. And I've been trying to think of an analogy to share, but do you have a family party that you hate going to every year? that like maybe this relative's house is messy, it's crowded, you hate the decorations, and you don't want to be there. So think about when our guests come into our store. If our stores are messy, they're hard to walk through, there's too much stuff everywhere, it makes them not want to literally stay inside of our stores. But when there's a clear message, when our color story palettes are nice and smooth, it feels really comfortable and maybe even warm to stay in. And also, it also drives results.
How do you balance creativity with the goals of the business when it comes to setting up a store?
Ooh, that is pretty easy. I think about visual merchandising filters. I think that all visual MTLs, maybe a really visual influenced STL, all has a certain level of creativity as well as myself. But what I try to think about and what I train to is that none of our names are on the building, right? American Eagle is on our buildings. So how do we show up in a creative way while also influencing to our standards? And that equals out to the visual merchandising filters. So with everybody, kind of following those filters, I do think that that helps to level set the creativity in order to still strive to some of our goals.
All right, what are the big differences merchandising an Aerie versus an American Eagle?
There is quite a few, and like I mentioned earlier, with me being newer into the AE world, there's still a lot of things that I'm kind of trying to maneuver and find out and see what the differences is. Some of the biggest things I can say I've noticed is I would say starting with upper displays are pretty different when it comes to like Eagle and Aerie. Aerie is, I would say, more so streamlined. We have our frames, typically throw a bus form up there or two. Usually nothing too different when it comes to those upper displays. In Eagle, we have the pegboards, we have the pipe frames, we have like different ways we showcase denim hanging on the uppers, different formats for images. So I would say starting off with the uppers is probably one of the biggest differences. Then kind of moving into some of the merchandising, I would say going into like accessories, I think was one of those things that was pretty different for me, how we merchandise accessories. Area, we have baskets that most of the time is where like our shoes and like maybe a scarf or a blanket or things like that. Eagle doesn't have like those little accessory baskets, so we typically merchandise them like in a wall or with a presentation or under a nester. So I think that was something that was pretty different for me because I was like, oh man, shoes are in the wall. Like, where's the baskets at? And I'm like, oh, there's no baskets. That's why.
So now we have the rapid fire section where we put 30 seconds on the clock. It's just the absolute first thing that pops into your head. Jacob, Kristin, and Tiara, are you ready?
Yes.
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 If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
The first thing that pops in my head is George Washington, but I would not want to go to dinner with him. I feel like it's more of like not even that I want to go out to dinner with him, it's the first historical person that pops in my head.
What's the silliest fear that you have?
Ketchup. I hate ketchup to the point where I'm afraid of it.
I'm afraid of the dark. Like as an adult, like I actually am afraid of the dark.
You like turn off the lights and run down the hallway to bed?
Bumping into stuff. What's the strangest thing you've ever collected?
So, a rubber duck collection, actually, when I was like very young, like I had them all over my bathroom, like lined up. Like, and I was older too, like it's a little embarrassing, but like,
All right, which celebrity would you choose to play you in a biography?
so I really love Jennifer Aniston, but a lot of people tell me I look like her or Lindsay Lohan, so I feel like I want to be opposed if I wanted to be more realistic. Obviously, I would love Taylor Swift, but I just don't think that's gonna happen.
If you had to join any current band, who would it be?
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet's
I
back.
don't know.
All
That
right.
Oh, dang, that would be kind of dope, right? The sixth member?
I don't know. They're not even out anymore.
All right, if your life was a movie, what would the title be?
I would say tag you in.
Totally Tiara.
Yeah, I kind of like that. And it's like a sprinkle. It's like a little crown too, like ding, and it has the gleam to it. All right, cool. No, thank you guys so much for doing this with us. This was awesome having you guys as the team here. Jacob, Kristin, and Tiara, everybody give a big shout out to your MVL team. Thanks so much for being here today, guys.
Hope to see you in a stockroom near you.
Go ahead. Do you
Okay,
want to
so
say?
okay, do you want to start or you want me to start? We're like
Okay.
finishing each other's sentences.